There's a blue and yellow can that we all have in the garage, but very few actually know how to use it to save hundreds of reais on repairs. Today, I'm going to reveal 19 uses for WD-40 that can solve problems that repair shops charge for as if they were mechanical catastrophes. These are tricks I have personally tested over decades of experience working with all kinds of cars, and each one will surprise you with its effectiveness and simplicity. From rescuing an engine that won't start to bringing parts that seemed dead back to life, WD-40 is much more than just a simple lubricant. But pay attention, I'm also going to show you where you should never use it, because one mistake with this product can turn a 50 real solution into a 5,000 real disaster. Get ready to discover secrets that will change the way you take care of your car. Trick number 19. Rescuing a wet ignition system. Imagine this. You go out in the morning, turn the key, and the engine just sputters. It doesn't start, there's no spark, just a pathetic sound that makes you think of a tow truck and a huge bill. Before you call the mechanic, let me tell you something. In most cases, the problem isn't your engine or your battery. It's simply moisture that has infiltrated the ignition system. After a car wash, a heavy storm, or a particularly humid night, water can seep into the ignition coils, spark plug boots, or the distributor if your car is older. When this happens, the electricity scatters everywhere except where it's supposed to go, and the result is no spark. Here's the solution mechanics don't want you to know because it's too simple. Open the hood and locate the ignition coils and spark plug boots. Spray WD-40 generously on these components. The WD-40 formula displaces moisture and creates a protective layer that allows the electrical current to flow correctly again. Wait a minute for the product to do its job and then try to start the car. In the vast majority of cases, the engine will roar to life as if there was never a problem. And here's a professional tip that very few apply. If you live in a coastal area or frequently drive in the rain, make this trick a monthly routine. A light application of WD-40 on the coils and electrical connections of the ignition system keeps everything dry, prevents misfires, and saves you the frustration of being stranded in the middle of nowhere. It's the kind of preventive maintenance that takes 2 minutes but can save you from a 500 real tow and an unnecessary diagnosis. Now, if water can kill your engine, imagine what ice can do to your locks on a brutal winter morning. Let's go to trick number 18. Trick number 18. Freeing frozen locks and latches. It's a freezing morning. You're late for work. You insert the key into your car door lock, and it doesn't turn. You try to unlock it from the inside with the remote, and the door won't open. Panic starts to set in because you know every minute counts. What's happening is that ice has blocked the lock mechanism or the internal latch, and forcing it can result in a key broken off in the cylinder or a destroyed locking mechanism that will cost over 1,000 reais to fix. Most people make the mistake of pouring hot water on the lock, thinking it will solve the problem. Big mistake. The hot water might work for a few seconds, but when the temperature drops again, the same water refreezes and makes the situation worse. Furthermore, the abrupt temperature change can damage the paint and plastic around the lock. The correct solution is this. Spray WD-40 directly into the keyhole, on the latch, and on the hinges if they are visible. WD-40 cuts through the ice, melts the frozen buildup, and displaces the moisture hidden inside the mechanism. Give it a few seconds to penetrate, and then try to turn the key or pull the handle. The movement should be fluid and without resistance. Once you manage to open the door, wipe off any excess product with a cloth and then apply a light coat of silicone spray on the latch and hinges. Silicone is better for the long term because it doesn't attract dust like WD-40. If you do this before each cold snap, your doors will always open smoothly no matter how low the temperature drops. It's a simple trick that can save you from being late or having to break a window in an emergency. If the cold can freeze a lock until it's useless, rust can weld a bolt so tight it seems impossible to move. This brings us to trick number 17. Trick number 17. Loosening rusted bolts and stuck spark plugs. There's nothing more frustrating than trying a simple repair and encountering a bolt that refuses to move. You apply more force, the wrench slips, and suddenly you're one move away from breaking the bolt and turning a 30-minute repair into a nightmare of hours. Rust fuses metal like concrete. Once it sets deep into the threads, brute force only makes things worse. You can break the head of the bolt, damage the threads, or even crack the the part it's attached to. Here is the correct method that experienced mechanics use. Spray WD-40 generously on the rusted bolt or the base of the stuck spark plug. Don't be stingy with the product. You want it to penetrate deep into the threads. Now comes the part many people skip. Let the WD-40 sit for at least 10 minutes. If the bolt is severely rusted, let it sit for half an hour or even overnight. Patience here is your best ally. During this time, WD-40 seeps into every microscopic crack, dissolving the rust and corrosion from the inside out. After the waiting time, instead of trying to turn the bolt immediately, give it a few light taps with a hammer or the handle of your wrench. This vibration helps the product penetrate even further and breaks the rust's bond. Now, try to turn the bolt. You'll notice it starts to give way with much less resistance. For stuck spark plugs, the procedure is identical. A good soak of WD-40, patience for it to penetrate, a few gentle taps, and then you turn carefully. This will save you from stripping the threads in the cylinder head, a mistake that can easily cost 2,500 Rs or more in repairs. I've seen people destroy entire cylinder heads for not having the patience to wait 10 minutes. Don't be that person. But it's not just about fighting the rust that's already there. The real professional trick is to prevent it from appearing in the first place. That's where trick number 16 comes in. Trick number 16. Preventing rust on exposed metal. Rust doesn't ask for permission. It starts the instant bare metal meets moisture, and once it begins to spread, it devours everything from bolts to body panels. You might not notice it at first, but after a few days of rain or a trip on salt-treated roads, suddenly the underside of your car looks like it's been submerged in seawater for months. The key is prevention, not reaction. Spray a thin layer of WD-40 on any exposed metal. Door hinges, suspension arms, wheel wells, surfaces of tools you keep in the garage. WD-40 forms a protective barrier that blocks water, salt, and oxygen, the three elements rust needs to thrive. For the parts under your car, reapply the product every few months, especially before winter or after washing the vehicle. This simple habit can add years to your car's life and save you the nightmare of corrosion-welded bolts or panels that crumble to the touch. Think of it as cheap insurance against deterioration. A can of WD-40 costs less than 50 Rs and can protect thousands of Rs in components. It's one of those investments that pays for itself 100 times over. But the protection isn't just for metal. Your car's wiring and electrical connectors face their own silent enemy, and when that enemy strikes, the repair bills skyrocket. Let's move on to trick number 15. Trick number 15. Protecting electrical connectors from corrosion. A car's electrical system is like its nervous system. A single bad connection, and everything starts to fail in unpredictable ways. Moisture, road salt, and dirt seep into plugs and sensors, corroding the metal pins inside. Before you know it, your dashboard lights up with random error codes, or worse, the engine starts to behave erratically for no apparent reason. Here's how to stop it before it starts. Every time you disconnect an electrical plug, whether it's for headlights, sensors, ignition coils, or any other component, give it a short spray of WD-40. The product displaces trapped moisture and leaves a thin film that blocks future corrosion. Do the same with battery terminals, fuse box connectors, and trailer plugs if you tow. For long-term protection, after the WD-40, apply dielectric grease to the contact points. This combination keeps the electricity flowing clean and steady, saving you the nightmare of chasing mysterious electrical faults that can cost hundreds of Rs in diagnostics. Think of it as cheap insurance for your wiring. A quick application today can prevent a 5,000 Real headache tomorrow. Oxygen sensors, crankshaft position sensors, ABS connectors. All these critical components work with tiny electrical signals that are easily disrupted by the slightest corrosion. A dirty connector can make your car go into limp mode, limiting power and performance. A corroded sensor can throw error codes that make you think you need new parts when all you really needed was to clean and protect the connections. Now let's move on to something completely different but equally useful. Let's go with trick number 14. Trick number 14. Temporarily restoring hazy headlights. You've probably noticed it. Your headlights look cloudy, dull, yellowish. It's not dirt. It's oxidation slowly eating away at the plastic lens. This haze not only ruins your car's appearance, it weakens your night visibility and makes you a target for glare from oncoming cars. Most people buy toothpaste or expensive polishing kits, but here's a faster solution that really works when you're in a pinch. Wash the headlights with soap and water, then dry them completely. Spray a light mist of WD-40 on the lens and rub it in with a clean microfiber cloth. In seconds, the clarity returns. The formula breaks down the surface oxidation and adds a slick layer that repels water and helps the light shine through like new. It's not a permanent solution. The haze will return in a few days or weeks, but it's perfect before a long trip, a technical inspection, or just when you want your car to look good for a special occasion. Quick, easy, and cheap. For a permanent solution, you'll eventually need to sand and seal the lenses properly, but this trick gets you out of a bind when you need it most. Oxidation is stubborn, but wait until you see how WD-40 handles something even grosser that sticks to your paint like glue. Let's go with trick number 13. Trick number 13. Removing tree sap, tar, and sticky grime. Nothing ruins a clean car faster than sticky sap, baked on tar, or road grime that adheres like industrial glue. You try to scrub it off and only end up scratching your paint. Razor blades are even worse. They will cut right into your clear coat and cost you thousands of Rs to fix the damage. Here's the professional move. Spray WD-40 directly on the sticky spot, whether it's tree sap on the hood, tar on the rocker panels, or that mysterious gunk you picked up on the highway. Let it sit for about a minute. The formula softens the residue, breaking the bond between the grime and the paint. Then wipe it away with a clean microfiber cloth. For tougher stains, repeat the process and use a gentle circular motion. When you're done, wash the area with soap and water to remove any leftover WD-40 film. Your paint will be smooth, shiny, and residue-free without a single scratch. This trick has saved me countless times, especially after parking under pine trees or driving through freshly paved roads where tar splatters everywhere. Tree sap is particularly treacherous because it hardens in the sun and becomes almost impossible to remove without expensive specialty products. WD-40 dissolves it effortlessly. The same goes for tar from paving jobs. I've seen people scrub for hours with the wrong products when 5 minutes with WD-40 would have solved everything. Now let's move from sticky to squeaky. You'll love trick number 12. Trick number 12. Silencing squeaky hinges and springs. That sharp squeak every time you open your car door isn't just annoying. It's a sign that metal is grinding against metal without proper lubrication. Over time, this wear can permanently damage the hinges, leading to misaligned doors or springs that break. The solution is immediate. Open the door completely and locate the hinges. Spray WD-40 generously into each pivot point, making sure the product gets into the areas where the metal moves. Move the door back and forth several times to distribute the lubricant evenly. The squeak will disappear instantly. For squeaky hood or trunk springs, the process is the same. Spray where the spring connects and flexes. An additional trick is to also apply it to the latches and catches, as these can also develop annoying noises over time. This maintenance takes literally 2 minutes and makes your car feel more refined and better cared for. But there's an additional secret few people know. After applying WD-40, wait a few hours and then apply a lithium or silicone-based lubricant to the same hinges. The WD-40 cleans and frees, but it's not the best long-term lubricant. Lithium or silicone provides lasting lubrication that keeps everything quiet for months. This two-step combination is what the pros do. Now, let's move on to another friction problem that affects almost all older cars. Trick number 11. Trick number 11. Freeing stuck handbrake mechanisms. The handbrake is one of those components that works perfectly until one day it just doesn't. You pull the lever and it feels stuck, or you release it and the car won't move because the rear brakes won't disengage. This is especially common in cars that aren't used often or are parked in humid environments. The culprit is almost always rust and corrosion in the handbrake cables or the rear shoe mechanisms. When these components rust, they seize up and stop moving freely. If you force the system, you can break the cables, which means an expensive repair. Here's the solution. Safely jack up the car and locate the handbrake cables running to the rear wheels. Spray WD-40 along the cable sheaths and at the points where they enter the brake mechanisms. Also, spray the pivots and springs of the rear brake mechanism if you can access them. Let the product penetrate for a few minutes. Then, inside the car, engage and disengage the handbrake up and down several times to work the WD-40 through the system. You should feel the movement gradually becoming smoother. If the brake was completely stuck, you might need to repeat the process several times over a few days until everything frees up completely. This trick can save you from having to replace handbrake cables, a job that can cost between 500 and 1,500 Rs depending on the car model. It's another example of how a 50-reel product can save you thousands in repairs. Now let's go with something that improves your car's daily functionality. Trick number 10. Trick number 10. Easing power window operation. When you press the button to raise or lower the window and hear that straining noise from the electric motor, or worse, the window moves slowly or gets stuck halfway, the problem is almost never the motor. It's friction in the tracks and rubber seals surrounding the glass. Over time, dust, dirt, and debris build up in the channels where the glass slides. The rubber seals also dry out and become sticky, creating resistance that forces the window motor to work harder than necessary. Eventually, this can burn out the window motor, a repair that can cost 1,000 Rs or more. Prevention is simple. Lower the window completely. Spray WD-40 onto a clean cloth and wipe down the rubber window seals on both sides of the glass, inside and out. Then, lightly spray into the visible tracks where the glass slides. Raise and lower the window several times to distribute the product evenly. The movement will immediately feel smoother. For long-term care, after using WD-40, apply a silicone spray to the rubber seals to keep them soft and prevent sticking in the future. Do this every few months, especially if you live in a dusty or rainy area. It's a 2-minute habit that keeps your windows sliding like new and protects the electric motors from premature wear. Friction destroys your windows. Imagine what it's doing to your wiper blades scraping across the glass every day. This brings us to trick number 9. Trick number 9. Conditioning windshield wiper blades. You turn on the wipers, and instead of a clear wipe, you get streaks, squeaks, and skips. This isn't just annoying, it's dangerous when rain or sun glare hits. Over time, heat, UV rays, and dirt dry out the rubber, leaving it stiff and uneven. Most people replace the blades immediately, but often you can bring them back to life in seconds. Here's how. Lift the wiper arms off the windshield and first wipe the blades with a damp cloth to remove loose dirt and grit. Then spray a little WD-40 on a soft cloth and run it along the rubber edge from end to end. The formula reconditions the blade, restores flexibility, and removes the oily film that causes streaking. Once you're done, clean the windshield to remove any residue. You'll notice quieter, smoother wipes immediately. Do this every few weeks, especially in hot or cold weather, to keep your blades lasting longer and performing like new. New blades can cost between 100 and 250 Rs a pair, so extending their life with this simple trick makes a lot of sense. Plus, properly working blades are critical for safety, especially in low visibility conditions. Let's continue with the car's interior appearance. You'll like trick number 8. Trick number 8. Cleaning and shining dashboard plastics. A dusty dashboard can make even a clean car look neglected. Over time, sunlight, heat, and skin oils cause plastics to fade, crack, and attract dust like a magnet. Many drivers use harsh cleaners that leave a greasy shine or a strong chemical smell. But there's a smarter, faster way. Spray a small amount of WD-40 onto a microfiber cloth. Never spray directly on the dashboard, as it can overspray onto unwanted areas. Wipe down the dashboard, door panels, and center console with smooth motions. It cuts through grime, fingerprints, and the buildup of old protectants in seconds. The result is a smooth, satin finish that looks fresh without feeling slippery. Plus, it leaves a thin anti-static coating that helps repel dust for weeks. For textured areas or air vents, use a soft brush or a cotton swab to lift dirt from tight spots before wiping. This trick makes your interior look professionally detailed without spending money on specialty products. An additional tip: avoid using WD-40 on the steering wheel or pedals, as it can make them slippery and dangerous. For these areas, use specific cleaners that don't leave residue. Safety always comes first. Now let's talk about a problem every parent knows all too well. Trick number 7. Trick number 7. Removing crayon, gum, or sticky residues from the interior. Nothing tests your patience like finding gum ground into the carpet or melted crayon on the seat. Kids, snacks, and summer heat are the perfect recipe for a sticky mess that seems impossible to clean. Scraping only spreads it, and most cleaners barely make a dent. Here's how to handle it like a pro. Spray a small amount of WD-40 directly on the affected area and let it sit for about a minute. The formula breaks down the waxes, sugars, and adhesives at their base. Then use a plastic scraper or a soft cloth to gently lift the residue. For fabric seats or carpets, blot instead of rubbing to avoid pushing the mess deeper. Once it's out, clean the area with a damp cloth and mild soap to remove any leftover WD-40 film. It works like magic on vinyl, leather, or upholstery without leaving damage or discoloration. I've used this trick countless times on gum that seemed impossible to remove, and it works perfectly every time. Gum is particularly problematic because it softens with heat and hardens with cold, but remains sticky in both states. WD-40 breaks that chemical stickiness, allowing the gum to release without leaving a residue. The same works for sticker adhesive, tape residue, and that mysterious gunk that no one knows where it came from. While we're on these interior details, don't overlook one of your car's most important protectors. Trick number 6. Trick number 6. Protecting weather stripping. Those rubber strips around your doors and trunk do a lot more than just keep the rain out. They are your car's first defense against leaks, wind noise, and dust. But constant exposure to sun, heat, and cold causes them to dry out, become brittle, and prone to cracking. Once they lose flexibility, every rainstorm or car wash becomes an invitation for water to seep in. Here's how to keep them soft and sealing tightly. Start by cleaning the rubber seals with a damp cloth to remove dirt. Then spray a little WD-40 on a cloth and wipe it along the rubber. It rejuvenates the surface, prevents cracking, and leaves a moisture-resistant layer that stops doors from freezing shut in winter. Do this every few months. It takes less than 5 minutes but can save you hundreds in cabin leak repairs later. Deteriorated seals also let in dust, which makes the interior dirtier faster, and wind noise, which makes long drives less pleasant. Keeping them in good shape significantly improves the driving experience. An additional trick is to visually inspect the seals while you clean them. If you see deep cracks or areas where the rubber is pulling away, consider replacing those sections before they fail completely. It's much cheaper to replace a seal preventively than to deal with a flooded interior after a storm. Doors aren't the only parts that need protection from corrosion. Let's open the hood and talk about something that silently kills batteries. Trick number 5. Trick number 5. Stopping battery terminal corrosion. Open the hood and take a look at your battery. See that white, green, or blue crust on the terminals? That's corrosion. Acidic buildup that slowly strangles your electrical flow. It causes weak starts, dim headlights, and can even fry your alternator if left unchecked. Most people ignore it until the car refuses to start, but prevention is quick and easy. Here's what to do. Disconnect the battery cables, negative first to prevent shorts, then positive. Spray WD-40 directly on the terminals and clamps. Let it soak for a minute to break down the corrosion. Then gently scrub with a wire brush or an old toothbrush. Wipe clean with a dry cloth. Reconnect the cables, positive first and then negative, and finish with a light coat of WD-40 to protect against future buildup. Do this every few months, especially before long trips or winter weather. It keeps your battery running strong and your electrical system healthy. Corrosion on the terminals can cause voltage drops that confuse the car's sensors and generate false error codes. I've seen cars go to the shop with complicated diagnoses when all they needed was a battery terminal cleaning. An additional pro tip: after cleaning and protecting with WD-40, you can apply a specific battery terminal protectant spray or even petroleum jelly. This provides an even more more durable barrier against corrosion. Clean terminals ensure all your battery's power gets where it's needed. If you want your car to run smoother and last longer, the next trick is fundamental. Let's go with number 4. Trick number 4. Protecting undercarriage components. The undercarriage of your car faces the worst of it. Rain, mud, salt, and road grime that slowly eat away at the metal parts you rarely see. Control arms, subframes, and suspension mounts take the biggest hit, and once rust takes hold, it spreads fast. Before you know it, bolts are seized, bushings are rotted, and repairs start costing thousands. Prevention is easy. Safely lift your car with a jack or have it put on a lift during a service. Spray a generous coat of WD-40 on the exposed underbody parts, especially near the wheel wells, suspension joints, and frame edges. The formula repels moisture, blocks salt, and keeps metal surfaces free from corrosion. Reapply every few months, especially before winter or after driving on wet, salty roads. This simple step can double the life of critical components and save you the nightmare of rusted-out bolts and frame damage. In regions where a lot of salt is used in winter, this trick is absolutely essential. Salt is incredibly corrosive and can destroy a car's underbody in just a few seasons if left unprotected. Also, pay attention to exhaust hangers, metal brake lines, and fuel system connections. All these areas are vulnerable to rust, and leaks in any of them can be dangerous and expensive. A preventive application of WD-40 on these components gives you peace of mind. And speaking of moisture, sometimes it doesn't just attack from below, it infiltrates your engine after a flood. Here's how WD-40 can help you start safely when that happens. Trick number 3. Trick number 3. Emergency start after flooding. Few things are scarier than your car dying after driving through deep water. The engine sputters, the lights flicker, and you're stranded, wondering if it's all over. But in many cases, it's not the end, just moisture suffocating your ignition system. Here's what to do if your car won't start after a flood or heavy rain. First, don't keep trying to crank the engine. This can cause serious damage if water got into the cylinders. Instead, open the hood and locate the ignition components, spark, plug wires, coils, and the distributor if your car has one. Spray WD-40 generously on these parts. The formula displaces trapped water, dries quickly, and coats the surfaces to restore proper spark. Wait a minute or two, then try to start the car. In most cases, it will fire right up. The water displacement power of the WD-40 can save you a tow and get you moving again when it matters most. Keep a small can in your glove box or trunk. You never know when you'll need it. A quick spray can be the difference between getting home and being stranded. I've used this trick personally after driving through unexpectedly deep puddles, and it works surprisingly well. The key is to act fast before the moisture causes corrosion on the electrical components. The sooner you dry out the ignition system, the better your chances of avoiding permanent damage. It's also important to inspect other areas after driving through deep water. Check the air filter to make sure it's not wet, check fluid levels in case water got in, and watch for signs of water damage to the electrical system. Prevention and quick action are your best allies. Now let's move on to a more routine but equally valuable use. Trick number 2. Trick number 2. Cleaning and protecting metal tools. If you have tools in your garage, you know that moisture and rust are constant enemies. Wrenches, screwdrivers, pliers, and other metal tools can develop surface rust surprisingly fast, especially in unheated garages or humid climates. Here's how to keep your tools in perfect condition. After each use, especially if you worked in damp or dirty conditions, wipe your tools clean with a rag. Then spray a light coat of WD-40 over the metal surfaces. This drives out any residual moisture, prevents rust, and keeps moving mechanisms working smoothly. For tools you store for long periods, a more generous application of WD-40 provides extended protection. You can even submerge small tools completely in WD-40 if you plan to store them for months. When you need them again, just wipe them off and they'll be ready to use like new. This habit is especially important for precision tools like torque wrenches, micrometers, and calipers. These expensive tools can be ruined by rust, losing their accuracy and functionality. A few seconds of maintenance with WD-40 after each use keeps them in optimal condition for years. It also works great on garden tools, camping gear, and any other metal item you store in the garage or shed. It's a universal solution for rust protection. And finally, we arrive at trick number number 1, the most important and potentially the biggest money saver. Trick number 1, loosening rusted lug nuts before a tire change. Imagine this: you're on the side of the road with a flat tire. You get out the jack, put the lug wrench on the first nut, and apply force. It doesn't budge. You apply more force. Nothing. The lug nuts are so rusted they seem welded to the wheel. This isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous if you're in an unsafe spot and can't change the wheel. Here is the preventive solution everyone should apply. Every few months, or especially before a long trip, spray WD-40 on your lug nuts. You don't need to remove them. Just spray around each nut where it meets the wheel. The WD-40 will penetrate the threads, dissolve any forming rust, and keep everything moving freely. If you already have nuts you suspect are rusted, apply WD-40 generously and let them sit overnight if possible. The next day, they should loosen with much less difficulty. This simple preventive habit can save you from being stranded on the side of the road, or from having to call for assistance because you can't get a wheel off. I've seen countless situations where someone tries to change a wheel with so much force that they end up breaking a wheel stud or damaging the rim. These repairs can easily cost 1,000 Rs or more. All of this is avoided with a regular application of WD-40 that takes literally 2 minutes per car. One final professional tip: when remounting wheels after a change or rotation, apply a little anti-seize compound to the stud threads before putting the nuts on. This not only makes it easier to tighten them properly with a Torquier wrench, but also ensures the nuts will come off easily the next time you need to remove them. Now, before you run off to spray WD-40 on everything, I need to warn you about a few places where you should never use it. This is critical because using WD-40 in the wrong places can cause serious and expensive damage. Never use WD-40 on engine belts, timing belts, accessory belts, or any rubber belt will deteriorate quickly with WD-40. The product attacks the rubber, causing it to swell, crack, and eventually break. A broken belt can leave you stranded or cause catastrophic engine damage. Never use it on brake pads or rotors. This should be obvious, but I mention it because I've seen it happen. WD-40 on brakes eliminates the friction needed to stop the car, creating an extremely dangerous situation. If you accidentally spray WD-40 on brake components, you must clean them thoroughly with brake cleaner before driving. Avoid using it on sensitive sensors like oxygen sensors, mass airflow sensors, or throttle position sensors. These components have delicate surfaces that can be contaminated by WD-40, causing incorrect readings and performance problems. If you need to clean these sensors, use specific electronics cleaners. Don't use it in high-precision locks like the steering column or ignition. Although it might free a stuck lock temporarily, WD-40 attracts dust and grime that will eventually make the problem worse. For locks, use graphite or specific lock lubricants. Avoid spraying it excessively in areas where it can drip onto sensitive components. A little goes a long way, and excess can cause more problems than it solves. It's always better to apply WD-40 to a cloth and then wipe the desired area rather than spraying indiscriminately. Also, don't use it on bicycle or motorcycle chains as a long-term lubricant. While it can clean the chain, WD-40 is too light to provide lasting lubrication under the pressure and speed a chain experiences. After cleaning with WD-40, apply a specific chain lubricant. WD-40 is an incredibly versatile tool that can solve dozens of automotive problems and save you literally thousands of Rs in unnecessary repairs. The 19 tricks I've shown you today are just the beginning. Once you start keeping a can of WD-40 handy, you'll constantly discover new ways to use it. The key is to understand what WD-40 actually does. It's not just a lubricant, although it can lubricate temporarily. It is primarily a water displacer, a mild solvent, and a corrosion protectant. These properties make it perfect for the uses we discussed. Always remember to use it with common sense. More is not always better. A light, targeted application is usually more effective than soaking everything with the product. And, as I mentioned, there are places where you should never use it, no matter what. If you found this content useful, I ask that you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with other drivers who could benefit from these tricks. The more people who know these simple techniques, the less money will be wasted on unnecessary repairs and diagnoses that could be solved with a 50 Real can. In the comments, tell me which of these 19 tricks surprised you the most, or which one you'll try first. I'd also love to hear if you have your own uses for WD-40 that I didn't mention. Together, we can create a community of knowledge that helps keep our cars in better shape and our wallets fuller. And remember, the best maintenance is preventive. Don't wait for things to break to act. A small investment of time and a few RIAs in products like WD-40 can prevent problems that would cost thousands of RIAs to fix. Your car is likely one of your most valuable possessions. Treat it with the respect and care it deserves, and it will reward you with years of reliable service. See you in the next video, where we'll continue revealing more secrets that mechanics prefer to keep to themselves. Until then, keep your WD-40 close and your car running perfectly.